Welcome, hello, thanks for joining, thanks for watching, whether it's live or the replay here. I just had a really fun lesson teaching someone how to compose, and this is someone who is like a younger student and never composed before. So if you are someone who's never composed before, I hope this will help you, because this really worked for them. And if you are experienced, or maybe you're a teacher, you might want to teach your students this. This could be a good thing to teach. So what we started with was, they already know how to play this scale. It's a G major scale in the first position. So they've been playing this for maybe a couple of months. Right? They know this scale quite well. I've got the notation and the tablature here. So you can play that's just in the first position, open strings and everything. So using this, you can create a melody just from this collection of notes in the first position. You can create a beautiful melody. The secret to it is that you need to provide a bit of guidance, a bit of structure. So the structure is here. We've got 3 systems, 3 lines of music here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to compose 4 measures here. Those measures will repeat here. So we're just going to literally copy and paste them here. So 2/3 of the piece will be done. And then in the middle, we're going to provide a bit of contrast in the middle. We're also going to repeat a little bit of material in the middle line itself. If I had to write it out very quickly, let me do this so you can just see this really clearly visually. Here we're going to repeat bars, technically 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 to 6. And here we're going to repeat bars 7 to 8, pretty much. There will be some minor adjustments, but that's pretty much what we'll do there. So lots of repetition. So you're actually only composing 6 measures of music, and actually we might even reuse more of the music than that. So that's a really important, this kind of structure is really important to start with, because it takes a lot of the overwhelm, the initial barriers and overwhelm, and where do I begin and where do I go next, and all of those questions. I think a lot of those questions at least get addressed just from these 2 simple things, from having this scale that these are all the notes we'll use for the melody, and then having this structure. And this is a very common structure. This is kind of like borrowed from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, right? Where we have a beginning, and now this is the middle, which repeats, and then we go back to the start. Okay, so that's basically the structure we're following there. You could say it's like a ternary form. It's kind of like A, B, A, right? We could even write that. Maybe that's nice to write in, yeah? So A, B, hopefully this will go to, okay, saying C, A. There we go. It's like, that's kind of the structure we're doing there. Okay, so you play the scale, and then you can start to compose a melody. Now, one of the things that melodies typically do is that they will move by step. So we'll move this by step. They will also typically start on the home note, on the tonic. So let's start our melody on the home note, on the first note of the scale, right? Another thing that melodies tend to be smooth. They tend to move by step mostly. Another thing they like that's really nice to do is rising and falling, or falling and rising. So to create arch shapes is really nice as well for our initial melody here. Okay, so we could go up the scale, and I'm going ta ti ti ta, like that. So there's a little fragment. Maybe I'll just keep going up the scale. And now, so now I've gone up by step, so now I'm going to start going down. I'm just hearing a melody in my head right now, and it's I'm just going to repeat that little fragment. Like that. Okay, so I've just used the scale, gone up. And there we have a melody just based on these notes of the scale. I decided to repeat, so that if I had to write this in, I've actually repeated, and you could follow this if you want, repeat bar 2 there. Okay, we started on the home note. I think that's really important. I can write that in as well. So start on home note, which is scale degree 1. And that could be the low or the high one there. We've got the arch shape, so let's put that in as well. So it rises and falls, right? So we've got that. We should put we can just copy and paste this in to get the tablature as well, which can be easier for some people, for students, or for, you know, if you're not as familiar with notation. So, and let me know if you have any questions, if you're watching in the chat or if you're watching the replay. All right, so there's our first 4 measures. So remember that we can copy and paste that here. So we've done that. Repeat bars 3 to 6. The rest is the same. The only difference is that we're going to end it on the home note as well. So we're going to go end on home note. Scale degree 1, and all to do that, we're just going to change that A to a G. All right, so it's going to sound like this at the end. Okay, so there we go. So all that's left is these 2 measures here, and then we're going to basically copy and paste them here. So let's do that. So we want a bit of contrast now. So we've used mostly tars and TTs, or crotchets and quavers, or quarter notes and eighth notes. I like to just describe them as tar, TT, like that. So let's now instead use, to contrast that, to balance it out a little bit, let's use some half notes or minims or tars, right? So notes that are worth 2 beats. We also haven't gone up to these notes. We haven't used these 2 notes yet, so maybe we can focus a little bit more on this higher register. We haven't repeated notes a lot, so maybe it would be nice to repeat some notes to make the melody a bit more static. So let's write that here. So maybe static shape now, to contrast from the arch shape that we had. Okay, so where do you want to start? We could start maybe on there, octave. Maybe something like that. Now what I'm doing here is I'm combining this. What I want to do is in order to unify the structure of this piece, I want to borrow rhythmically. I want to use maybe this same rhythm here. So let's do that. So static shape, and I'm going to say borrow rhythm of bar 4 there. And you see how much structure there is now? There's really a lot of signposts, a lot of guidelines that you can follow. So I'm going to use this same rhythm. T, 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 ta, ta. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll, oh, that's a big leap. It's not static anymore. But I like it. And then we're going D, G. And then we'll copy that and paste it here. Or I'll just do this, I'll just write it out. Because if I copy it, it's going to copy all the text. So I'm just going to go. And then. And maybe instead of repeating, instead of going down to the G, we'll just hold that D. So a slight change there to just give it a bit of space. It's the end of the phrase here. And just like we did there, we changed that note from the A to the G to kind of give it a slight difference to the repeat, to the version we heard already. So there's the melody. That's done. Let's have a listen to that. So. I've only used these notes of the scale, very, very tight structures in place. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Does that seem, if you've never composed before, does that make it a little bit more doable for you? I'd love to know. Does that, would you be able to compose a melody similar to that? Do you think, just using that scale? Let me paste this tab in here. Alright, so what would happen if you harmonize it? Now we've just got a melody here. This is, in some ways, it's incomplete. You're just hearing a melody. It's like if I played this melody and you think, that's okay, that's alright, it's a bit bland. But then if I added the rest of it, then you're like, oh, that's actually not bad. Yeah, pretty good. One of the most iconic guitar pieces. Very, very, very simple. Very simple melody. So what would happen if we make this a little bit more full? We add a bit of an accompaniment. I'm just going to improvise a bit of an accompaniment, just add some chords into it. So let me give that another go, yeah, because I was just feeling my way around it a little bit. There you go. So, I mean, there's many different ways you could set that melody. You could do more of a more of an arpeggiated kind of thing, a little bit like a Caruli or Carcassi type of texture. You could do it more chordally, like what I just did there. So depends on your level. You could just go very simple, like to bass and melody. You know, just have two voices, like. You could do something like that. That's a really great first step. You could use a lot of open strings to make that easier, so that can help to just fill out your melody as well. So yeah, anyway, I hope this helps you in some way to compose your maybe first ever melody. I would have to say, the student that I taught today, she wrote her melody and she was so pleased with it. It was just like lit up. She just lit up from it. So I think really, if you can play this scale and you can follow these guidelines, I really think any guitar player is capable of writing a melody. And even if your melody is like a little bit awkward in some points, I think you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy playing your own piece of music. It's very special. So I hope that helps. I don't know if you want to like take a screenshot of this or something. We've done this live, so I can't I can't like provide you a link to this. I would do that if I could provide you a link to this, but you can feel free to take a screenshot or something if you want. I know a lot of people do that, and yeah, feel free to use this same kind of structure. I hope it helps. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.